A quiet family, a familiar name, a story that once felt safe and ordinary. But now, everything has changed. This is an update on a case that is still unfolding. And what we are seeing now is only part of a much bigger picture. What started as a normal life in the public eye has suddenly turned into something far more serious, something that has left people confused, shocked, and asking questions that no one seems ready to answer. Here is what people don't realize. This is not just about one arrest. It is not just about one headline. This case shows a bigger pattern, a pattern of silence, delay, and unanswered questions that stretch far beyond what we see on the surface. And this is where things begin to go wrong. Joseph Duggar, known to many from a once popular television show, and has now become the center of a serious and ongoing investigation. For years, he was part of a family that millions watched on screen. A family that was seen as disciplined, structured, and deeply rooted in values. But behind that image, something else may have been unfolding. According to authorities, Joseph was arrested following accusations connected to an incident that reportedly happened years ago. The timeline itself raises questions. Why now? Why did it take so long for this to come forward? This is where things get complicated, because when something is reported years later, it often means there were moments when people stayed silent, moments when something could have been said but wasn't. And here is what people don't realize. Silence is not always empty. Sometimes silence is where the truth hides. As the investigation moved forward, officials confirmed that the case involves a minor and remains active. At the same time, they have made it clear that only limited information can be shared. And that creates a different kind of tension. Because when details are restricted, people begin to wonder. They begin to question what really happened behind closed doors. Then came another major development. Just days after Joseph's arrest, his wife, Kendra Duggar, was also taken into custody. This is where the update takes a new turn, one that many did not expect. She is facing misdemeanor charges, not the same level as Joseph, but still serious enough to raise concerns. Why would she be involved at all? This is where things get wrong. Because involvement does not always mean the same thing. It could mean awareness, it could mean being present, and it could mean something that happened after the fact. But whatever the case may be, it changes how people see the situation. A family once seen as united is now under a different kind of spotlight. And here is what people don't realize. When one part of a story breaks, it often reveals cracks in places no one was looking before. Authorities have described the case as active and ongoing. That means they are still gathering information, still connecting details, and still trying to understand the full picture. But the public does not like waiting. People want answers now. They want to know what happened. They want to know who knew. They want to know how something like this could go unnoticed for so long. And this case shows a bigger pattern. A pattern where things remain hidden until something forces them into the light. And it's a pattern where the truth does not come out immediately, but slowly, piece by piece. As attention grows, people are also looking back at the family's past image. Many remember the show, the lifestyle, the way everything appeared on the surface. But now, that image feels very different, because once doubt enters the picture, everything changes. This is where things get deeper. People are not just reacting to what is happening now. They are also looking back, trying to see if there were signs that were missed. And this is where things get uncomfortable, because sometimes what we think we understand is only a small part of a much larger story. the family has released a statement expressing shock and concern, acknowledging the seriousness of the situation. But even that has not stopped the questions, and because statements do not always provide answers, sometimes they only highlight how much is still unknown. And here is what people don't realize: uncertainty can be more powerful than facts. When people do not have clear answers, they begin to imagine possibilities, and those possibilities can feel even heavier. As of now, both Joseph and Kendra Duggar are dealing with legal issues that are still developing. The investigation is not over, and that means more information could come out at any time. This is where things get serious, because this is no longer just about one moment. It is about responsibility. It is about understanding how situations like this happen and what comes next. And this case shows a bigger pattern, one that goes beyond a single family. It shows how important it is to pay attention, to act, and not to ignore warning signs. Because when things are ignored, they do not disappear. They grow. They become harder to deal with and harder to understand. This is where things get real, because at the center of this case are real lives and real consequences. And no matter how it ends, the impact will remain. For now, this is where the case stands, but the story is still developing. And as new updates come in, everything we think we know could change again. So the question remains: what really happened? And when the full truth comes out, will it bring clarity or raise even more questions? Only time will tell.